Welcome to the Ruffells ad break, the first of the Ruffells Roughcasts. I'm Tim McInnes, Managing Director. In this podcast, we dig into how the creatives we work with get the most out of every brief to deliver best results for you. At Ruffells, we're all about the people, and when we're working with the best in breed, it's easy to get great results. But when the majority of our effective brain time is spent at work, we reckon you might as well enjoy the ride too. Joining us this episode is Andie Spargo from Creative License. He's a proud Cantabrian who lives in Auckland and looks for any excuse to come home and visit his mum. He's a good boy. He's a founding member of the Court Jesters, the improv and corporate arm of the Court Theatre, and a member of the Outwits. He's been a professional entertainer for 20 plus years, and he's created bespoke characters for Coca-Cola, Air New Zealand, Vero, Apple, Vodafone, and more. He's an accomplished copywriter, brand strategist, voiceover artist, and smarty pants. And in this episode, we talk about giving brands perspective as contextual translators, team building through TV shows, and being switched into authenticity. But less from me and more from Andie. 1, 2, 3. Ruffells ad break.
Ad break. Ad break.
Ruffells ad break.
Where I want to start,
Okay.
really where I want to start,
Yeah.
from all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You told me, I remember you went away one time for 3 months to India to do a sweaty yoga retreat.
4 months.
4
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
And you were petrified. You were like, oh, what am I doing? I'll lose all the work and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Was that true?
No, it wasn't a sabbatical, like it wasn't my 7th year and I hadn't planned it, but it turned into a sabbatical. Like it was so nice to step outside of my own life and look back at it. Like I'd been so close to my life that, you know, when you're in that, always chasing the next thing, you know, soul trader, I was always in that constant fight or flight. This is the last job.
Yep.
And then when I stepped out and looked back, I realized that the things I truly care about, the things that I love in life, weren't that connected to anything to do with money or it was really good. And it was the context of India is,
I've been, yeah.
Literally everyone I've ever talked to says it's the worst experience of my life and the best experience of my life, because we Kiwis upon returning go, oh boy, we're lucky.
Yeah, we're really lucky. I was kidnapped in India. Yeah.
Well, it's because you're lovely.
Well, I wasn't kidnapped. I mean, I've just taken against my will for my money.
Yeah. Wow.
But that's right. They didn't get any. But it's really interesting. I think that context brings a certain lens that we need often.
Yeah.
Because when we're working with businesses, we go into those businesses, we don't know what the product catalogue is for a nuts and bolts producer or a distributor or a car manufacturer or an ag product, you know.
But isn't that the beauty?
Absolutely.
Like, don't we sort of operate as kind of contextual translators? Like I so often find that when I work with brands, the biggest hurdle they're finding is themselves. They are so close to their own brand. You know, when you're so close to something, you can't see it. You can't focus on it. And it just when you pull it back, and that's that perspectival shift that I think we bring.
Yep.
We have that outside eye.
Yep.
We let people step back just as that, you know, I was talking about India, stepping back from oneself and looking back. We give businesses a chance to focus. We go, is this what you do? And sometimes they go, yes. And then sometimes they go,
oh, no.
no, but maybe yes.
Yeah.
Right? We've had that conversation, right?
That's not what we do. We're not.
Oh. And that's a wonderful gift, I think, to be able to give someone.
Yeah.
Is their outside eye perspective.
Yeah.
Where they've been doing this for so long and you just go, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of the value piece, right? Like, because anybody can go in and write a piece of copy, you know, or
I know, literally anyone.
Yeah.
I'm reminded constantly.
Oh yeah, you'll be told. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, how hard can it be?
My daughter's doing English in the fifth form. She's just she's looking at she's doing great. I just got her to have a look at it. She's got some ideas.
She's got some ideas. That's year 11.
Year 11. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm showing my
thank you.
age.
Yeah,
I
that's right.
love. Look, I'm an old man.
Yeah.
I'm showing my age.
Yeah.
I made a Charlie's Angels reference the other day.
But you meant the original? You
Oh no, completely the original, and I could have heard a pin drop in the room. Hey, I said this, Charlie.
No one.
Not a single soul.
Yeah.
Not even the old people. They were too embarrassed as well.
Yeah. Well, Bianca here was asked what her favourite Julia Roberts film was, and her answer was, "I'm too young for that." She doesn't know. So,
cool.
But that's wonderful, though, right?
Yeah.
That's how you get the best out of people, is you take what you assume, the assumed knowledge that you have, and you put it into a context, and then you check and cross-reference the importance of that, and then the table or the room will very quickly tell you how irrelevant the way you're going is, and then you have to distill it, right? And you've got to pick out some.
But that's language, right? Language is like when you're talking intergenerationally. Like if you give a reference or context to someone who hasn't had that experience, they go, "I know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
So it's you find those common human experiences that go across all generations.
Yep.
We have foundational human needs. We're a species driven by fear, euphemized as stress, euphemized as excitement.
Yep.
And I think we, as communicators, we tap into those subtly and offer, hopefully, with kindness, with empathy.
And then wrap them with some colourful
fun.
clothes and fun.
With fun. Colour and fun.
Yeah.
Colour and fun and distraction. Distraction from the confusion.
Yeah.
Giving people an opportunity to feel that at least one person knows what's going on. Right? Right? Isn't this what we're doing? We're communicating and trying to say, look, everything's okay.
Yeah.
Here's...
We own our shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about work more specifically, perhaps. In the last year or so, what have you found most fulfilling? Have you had one job which sort of stands out? And I don't care how much detail you talk about it. What was the thing that you found exciting or invigorating about it, and what did you add to it?
So, I did a piece of work with Paper Plus a couple of years back where we created a TV channel for them, and we started doing genre-based, and again, like X-Files, news show, kids show, like across genres. And we met one client in particular where the entire team just came to life.
Yeah.
And them.
And just to clarify, you're talking about staff, because I've seen some bits and pieces.
Yes.
Staff who are coming together. You're scripting it, you're directing it, and what sort of things? How are you making the programs come alive? How do you script it? How do you even? Let's go back. How do you pitch that idea? Because I wouldn't have thought I don't know anything about Paper Plus other than going in and buying stamps or books or whatever. Well, how do you go and pitch it?
It was okay. So it was COVID, right? So normally there was a trade show conference aspect where people would gather in a venue. We had to try and recreate that idea online.
Yep.
So instead of trying to create a trade show, we said, well, what if it's just a channel that you can flick through and you can choose the programs you want to watch? What if it's something like that? So that was the genesis of this idea that we just formed this immediate relationship with one particular supplier who just came alive. We had so much fun on that gig, but this one group were just like, you could tell they were kind of almost, this is one of the best days at work I've had. Today I'm really enjoying coming to work. And so when we started working with them, like they're a sales focused team, they actually really enjoy coming out of their shell. We just started gentle and we kept redefining the comfort zone.
And so who's the audience in that situation? Is it anybody who would have been at a trade show? Or
so
is
it typically was B2B.
Yeah.
So it worked, and it's working really nicely in two channels. One internally, just having the actual business themselves go, oh, this is fun. And we are seeing another side of the people that we work with.
So it's a team building
It's
asset,
brand
really.
building
Yeah.
and team building.
Yeah.
So you're getting this really nice internal outcome.
Yep.
And then the external is you're creating conversations with their customers. They go, I saw you doing that kid show thing on the video you sent me. Oh, you and like
What were you doing?
they're going, oh, I saw you doing that kung fu display in your back garden. I didn't even know you could do that, you know. And you know, we went from being the film crew, well, the team that came in, and everybody scattered because we were scary biz.
Yeah.
And last Christmas everyone was in. We had costumes. They were,
Yeah.
you know, the moustaches.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
were putting on the moustaches, putting on the hats, and we actually had a really fun Christmas do making a video.
Making a video, so it's multiple persons. So you've got some team building stuff. You've got the engagement must be really high with the team.
Yeah.
At that point, right? So how do you? Because otherwise, what is it? It's an annual report, which is a PDF, and it says, "Oh, sales were up in the third quarter. Q4 will be a little bit more difficult." You know, I mean, it's really dry, and people try really hard to sort of invigorate and give something back to their staff. But
So brands are made of people, right?
yeah.
Brands are made of people, and it's like that we were saying about social media. Sometimes people put an artificial version of themselves out to the world, and brands. I've met so many companies, and I've met the people, and then the brand voice and personality they take to market is incongruous. It doesn't match.
Yeah.
They're pretending to be someone else, and it's exhausting.
It's exhausting for the people who are doing it, but it's also, I think, you lose a level of trust, right? Because if the two don't match up.
So you mentioned leaving Be Real because it wasn't authentic enough. We are so switched into authenticity now. I mean, we're suspicious monkeys, right? Mm-hmm. We know when something doesn't feel quite right. You know, especially when someone says, trust me.
Yeah, that's right.
Think about the industries
I'm a
that
professional.
Are, think about
professional
the
photographer.
You can trust me. I'm going to sell you something. Trust us.
Yeah.
Anyone that says trust me.
Immediate red flag.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah. Go away from me. Trust my van.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, no, it's funny. Like people ask to be trusted. You earn trust.
Yeah.
You earn respect. You are given the title of innovator
through demonstrated action.
It's a behavior. Yeah. It's a behavior. Yeah. It's not a statement.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. So that was the thing too. As I realized that if we can get in with the people who make up the business and find their voice and take that, it's something they can then just live and breathe because it's their authentic voice.
Yep.
You know, it sounds simple, but it's quite a revelation.
And the bigger the business, the harder it is to shift that kind of thinking as well. It can be quite threatening. Or
the bigger the business, the harder it is to get them all in one room to talk about this.
Yep, true that.
But I tell you, it's worth it.
Yep.
These brand discovery sessions are often 2 or 3 senior leaders, decision makers.
Yep.
When you get more people in the room from different facets and aspects of the business, the conversation changes. And if you can create a safe environment where they can talk openly without fear of punishment or being knocked down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Often the SLT guys will just sit and listen.
Yeah.
Because they start to go, oh, this is actually really
this is valuable.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. So I mean, so I'm sort of looking back at and thinking about, some of the stuff that you've done over the years. So that obviously, it seems like a pretty easy step, or seems like it's natural, because you've had to, you've interfaced with audiences, but also with corporates. So you understand you've got a foot in both camp, right? So that sort of very dangerous, we don't know how people are going to react, and you've got to sort of shape it and give it that sort of thing. Did you always have that? Did you have a moment where you kind of went, I've got to be a creative, or whatever that means to you? Did you have a light bulb moment?
That was improv.
Yeah.
That was improv, getting up on stage and having nothing apart from the people I was working with, and realizing that most of humanity would run from that situation, and being so deeply happy. Being so deeply happy that I was that terrified. I've always run on cortisol. I've always run on adrenaline, probably to my detriment as well as to my benefit. But that was a moment, and what I was just talking about not just working with 3 leaders, being able to have a room full of people, which a lot of businesses would think is a dangerous idea.
Yeah.
And making and working that group, working that crowd, actually making it fun and funny.
Yeah. Is that a New Zealand thing? Do you think? Is that a New Zealand thing? Or is it a big business thing that, obviously the more people you put in the room, I mean, we're small, but we like to have really open conversations.
Yeah.
I'm not right because I call the meeting doesn't mean I'm right.
No.
It actually means if I can get better information from other places, then what I'm doing can be easier. I mean, it's really about being lazy, make it easy on myself by using the knowledge of the people around me to support the thesis.
But you're also letting people be seen and heard. And I think that's what businesses are starting to realize now, is that people give a lot of their life to the place they work, and they want to be seen, they want to be heard, and they want to feel that it's not just a money-based outcome, that there's something truly sincerely beneficial, and being seen and being heard is a big part of that.
Yep.
And being seen and celebrated and having fun together. That's not like, oh, we're going to consume X amount of alcohol and then go to this place and shoot clay ducks. Right? Or else.
Or shoot the duck.
Shoot the duck. No, I don't like guns. But actually exploring the group's comfort zone and just finding out as a group what their voice is, what they like to do, what fits best with them, and going with it.
Yeah. And then if you need to convince the CFO, you just talk about productivity, right? You say what the cohesion within the group then is going to come together, and then productivity will go through the roof.
Always match the inputs to the outcomes.
Yeah.
Talk about the people want to know, what are we going to get from this? What's the outcome?
Yep.
And it's a good conversation.
Yeah, that's right.
With these sorts of interactions.
That's right.
Interactivations.
Yep.
So I'm copywriter. Can't take copywriters always creating those portmanteaus. Oh, interact, activate. Oh, I can make a word from that. Yeah, so
Yeah, you've made a lot of those over the years.
I have.
Probably most which I don't.
None of them are utterable.
No. No, don't. Hey, so let's talk about nostalgic ads.
Yeah.
Was there a moment in time, whether that was TV ad, whether that was a billboard ad or a print ad, or was there one ad that you can sort of think of that you go, that stuck with me, and then can we sort of rip it apart a little bit?
Sure. So, showing my age.
Yep.
Do you remember the Crunchy Bar ad?
Which one? Yeah, but
Life's a whole long journey, boy, before you grow too old.
Don't miss the opportunity to strike a little gold.
So
West folks are fussing you when we don't make them stop. Is quickly draw your Crunchy Bar and fill 'em full of chalk.
Full 'em full of chalk.
Fill 'em full of chalk.
Full 'em full of chalk.
Yay.
Right. So I think that copywriter was like, yeah, this is good. This is good.
Yeah, fill 'em full of chalk.
Full of chalk?
Chalk.
But that was that great heist on a train. It was New Zealand's first major blockbuster tentpole ad.
Yeah.
It was cinematic.
Yeah.
It was shot wide. It was beautiful.
On a train, there was a chest full of treasure, which I always thought was weird. Why is it a chest?
And so many actors of the time playing all these cameo roles. It was a big. But the thing that it was selling a hokey pokey bar.
It was,
and there was that moment where like, oh, this isn't about food. This isn't about food. This is about the idea of food attached to life. This is fun.
Yeah, it was.
And
tongue in cheek, that sort of whole idea of the explorer, the Western, what it meant to be a frontier, adventurer. You didn't know what you were going into.
This is pioneer food.
Pioneering. That's right. That's right. And plastic. Chocolate and hokey pokey and plastic. Which is pioneer food.
It's just a carbonated drink.
Yeah.
It's just sugar wrapped in sugar.
Yep.
And if we said that, would you like some sugar wrapped in sugar?
Yeah, that's
People
right.
Like, yeah, not really.
How good would that be, though?
It would be great.
It'd be great.
It'd be great for about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Brutal honesty.
But do you think? I mean,
it'd be like a purge.
Yeah, that's right. But then I suppose if you were looking at if you really flooded all channels with that message for 3 or 4 days until the absolute hate came in, and then continued then selling your message. Would you like some sugar and sugar? Like, I mean, God, I've just done myself out of any sugar business, but potentially. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because sometimes that radical truth in a world which, if we think about nostalgia, if we think about advertising through nostalgia, or when it's always been about attaching an idea to something which is much bigger than the product, right?
Yes.
Always has been.
Yes.
Imagine if we didn't do that and we just said sugar, 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 sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar, 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 sugar.
I mean,
would it work?
Well, I think if we weren't so culturally stratified, if there wasn't as much of this hierarchy of, we need to consume possibly, like if it was just like, here's a fig tree, you guys go and have that fig tree. But I mean, our brains run on sugar. We constantly need to have food. So if we can bring a little culture, some cultural fragments to that idea, if we can give some tradition and some extra ideas to this, if we can wrap it in some mythos, that means we're sharing more than just nutrition, more than just calories. We're sharing aspects of our society. We're being kind, we're being nurturing.
Sharing some cultural capital.
Cultural fragments. Yep. I mean, little ideas, little tools that we gather together, and we take those fragments and we create culture, and then we knit those cultures together, and that forms, greater communities.
Yeah. Take them to market.
Yeah.
So what about if there was one ad you could make then today, and say it was, how would you be able to repurpose, or how would you do that same ad in today's context?
The Crunchy Bar ad.
Yeah. Do you reckon you could, or do you think?
I think if I was going to reboot it, I mean, if we reboot
let's remix it.
You just have to. I mean, technology. It would all be about the technology.
Yep.
So the heist would be more tech. It would be more high tech. Yep. It would be bullet train. It'd be on magnets.
Yep.
It'd be going a lot faster.
Yep.
People would be flying in the window from levitating cars.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So
if we can get the budget, I'm sure we can.
Well, you've just reminded me. I think it was Doritos did an ad which is very similar to that, and it's or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a curly fries, or I'll find it and I'll put. It was Taco Bell.
Oh, cool.
Okay, and what they did is it started out as your sort of banal drive-through kind of scenario. A couple of people, and they're talking about how they're getting this hot and spicy chips or whatever, and they have a couple of bites, and then the conversation between the same two friends, and now the other one is they're dressed in different outfits, so it's a different day. And then it gets hyper real, right? And then somebody comes back from outer space and crashes down straight out of a Marvel movie. And they're like, I need my hot chips back. And then they're now zooming in reverse in a sports car as fast as they can. It turns into a rocket ship and it goes to this outlandish place. And the whole thing is it's out of this world, right?
Yeah.
So that's the whole story.
Don't we love stories like that?
But we love those stories.
The curve, right?
Yeah.
And we're always on a curve towards absurdity.
Take the expected, get people to buy in, and just rip it away. So get them here.
Yeah.
Give them a little bit of context.
Yeah. Have fun.
Have fun.
Give them something they understand, and then show them something they don't expect, and they'll keep watching.
So why don't we do that? Why are we so and because I don't think it's all budget, right? I think I think there's a lot of it. Brands are really hard in this country to stand out. Is that the tall poppy thing? What's going on?
It's fear of failure. It's fear of people are far more comfortable doing something they've seen someone else do, because that money is easier to spend, which means you often get people parallel couching. They're doing the same. They'll see one brave person and they'll reiterate that out.
The Block Series 18.
It's a
Survivor Series 400.
Yeah. It's a challenge. It's a challenge to have them to say, hey, we could do that, but what if we turned it like that, painted it a different color, chopped it up into little bits, ate it, and then did something else? I mean, like it's just a conversation of saying, look, we're going to start with that. And that's the thing you understand. That's the thing you like. Let's try one of those. But next time, let's put it over there. Oh, over there?
We've not been there before.
We don't put it over there. Let's just try it once. Oh, that was quite fun. Like, it's like I went down to see my mum. She's in her late 70s, early 80s. She's just got Bluetooth working through her iPhone on her hearing aids. She was so terrified of that technology. She's so happy now. You know, that moment where she was like, this is the best thing ever. And now it's iPad in, iPhone in. What more can I get on the Bluetooth? Whereas prior to that, there was that wall of fear of, I'm not going to understand this. It's going to make me look foolish.
Yeah.
But as soon as we got past that, and it's the same with the brands. I feel like they feel safer when they don't have to take risks.
Yep.
Which makes sense.
Yep.
I mean,
it makes sense. Yeah. It's just boring.
Well, yeah. Well, it's just something we've seen before.
Yeah.
You know, when we see the thing we haven't seen, but we still understand it. There's that. Oh, this is.
Yeah, that's right.
This
That's
is
right.
You know,
And not shifting something too far too soon. Perhaps it's
always
it's
with
gotta,
context.
It's got to be part of a strategy.
It always has to
broader
make
strategy.
correct.
So,
Yeah.
But you actually have to put some brave milestones in place if you're ever going to get close to them, right?
Yep.
So
Confidence.
Hey, okay, so I think I already know the answer to this. This is massive, but what about relationships and getting the work done? And I suppose because obviously what we're big on is because we're a small team, we partner with people like yourself, who you know, if I want to go and get a website, really smicko website done. You know, I'm going to go. There's certain people. Go and see Paul. Go and see whomever. And that because they have a skill set that we don't have, right? And so that sort of relationship, I understand intrinsically the value of that, and I'm not threatened by it. In fact, I champion it, and then I try and promote those people to the wider world because more of them in the world is probably a good thing as far as I see it, right?
Sure.
So that makes sense.
Yes.
So there's work relationships, then obviously personal relationships, which, you know, everybody has to work on because they don't just come easily. But we won't go into because this is all about business.
Yes.
And then obviously relationships with clients and stuff like that. How important is it to work on those relationships to set up, is it setting up boundaries, is it an understanding from the inception of those things? In order to get good work done, how important are those relationships and what are the key parts that make those relationships work and that can give those people value as well as ourselves?
You know, we talked earlier about the difference between asking to be trusted and earning trust. Because when you're speaking on someone else's behalf, when you're adopting their voice or you're trying to write or create assets framed with their personality and in their voice, it requires a lot of trust. And that trust comes from getting closer to those people. You know, so it's a genuine relationship. You actually become part of the team. I think it's really important to become part of the team, to be able to speak in their voice for them on their behalf. You know, so I think that's for me the core part of that relationship. Is getting to that place of comfort and confidence. We're comfortable with each other, and we're confident, and they're confident that I get it.
I get it. Yeah. You got their back. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Favorite Ruffells memory.
Okay.
Now there are a bunch, right?
There's so many.
We've gone back a long.
Yeah. But
you had hair, actually.
Well, like
on the top of your head.
Yeah.
You know.
I've got photos. Yeah. I did a thing with you. With Captain Poop Deck.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Pirate show for kids.
Yeah,
you were Neptune.
I was
King
Neptune,
of the Sea.
King of the Sea. And you body painted me completely green and put shells on my nipples.
Yeah.
And gave me a trident.
Yeah.
And it was...
Yeah.
That was a moment.
That was exceptional.
Well, I've never forgotten it.
Neither of my kids.
That was a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you still need to make that.
Yeah, I know.
By the way,
I know.
BT dubs.
Yeah, everyone's saying that.
Seriously,
I don't know, but
that was fun.
Yeah. We were talking to the commissioning editors at TV3 about it for a while.
Yeah.
Talked to CBC Canada.
Yeah.
About it, but I think it was probably a little bit early for its time.
Maybe now's the time.
And shorter chunks too. So we were going for a kid's half hour,
Yeah.
the proper
You want bite size.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was fun. Yeah.
We'll put a link to the trailer on this as well, so that, or maybe we shouldn't.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. It's quite nuts.
Is it one of those you had to be there?
Well, I don't know. Look, the thing is, we were in focus groups with kids.
Yeah.
They were into it.
Oh, it was
They
so
were
much fun.
really, really deeply into it. But honestly, I couldn't have. Still can't think of anyone who would have brought the same gravitas to that role. So thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Hey, Andie, on that, thank you very much. We're going to wrap it up.
Nice.
You've been a pleasure, sir. Thank you very much.
Andrew, thank you.
Hey, where can we find you?
Online.
Yep.
creativelicense.co.nz.
Yep.
Or just search Andie, Andie, Spargo.
Yep. Or get in touch with us and we can, flick you details and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And we will put links to your website and to your LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff on this as well.
Awesome.
So thank you very much for coming. It's been a pleasure.
It's been awesome. Thank you, Tim.